person has to face some situation in his life which is not even in his imagination. Some incidents in our life are indeed not less than a horror drama that whenever we think about them, we definitely fall into deep thoughts. There is no doubt that life is actually full of unpredictable and unreliable events. Often something happens to a person that he cannot even think about. My name is Johnny James. I'm a 32 years old man. I'm based in Chicago with my family. Currently I'm working as a photographer. I got photoshoot projects from all over the cities. Today I'm here with a life-turning event of my life that will surely shock you for a while. I'm sharing my personal life event with no intention of gaining sympathies or becoming popular among people, but actually I want everyone to identify and be aware of infidelity of their life partner. Before getting into the video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more breathtaking and engrossing real couple stories. Let's revisit 2017 when I went to a wedding event as a photographer. There was a pretty girl at the wedding event who was fond of photo shoots. I remember she was continuously asking me to take her photos in different styles and scenes. I really loved her full of life and charming nature. When the event was over, she asked me to give her my WhatsApp number or Gmail as she wanted me to send her pictures which I had taken. Her name was Sarah. Sarah seemed highly excited and thrilled for posting her pictures on a social media account. I gave her my WhatsApp and left the event. As soon as I reached home, I came to know that my stepsister had a serious accident and she was at the ICU. Although she was a stepsister of mine, but very close to me as I always dealt with her like my own sibling. I hurriedly moved to the hospital in great anxiety. I remember my phone was continuously ringing as Sarah was asking for the pictures, but I was so occupied that I could not respond to her. However, after some hours when my stepsister was fine, I called Sarah, but she was not picking up my call. When I sent her all the pictures to her, I was about to sleep when she called me to show her sense of gratitude towards me. She started appreciating my photography skills. She then requested me to take a birthday party photo shoot, which was about to be held next week. I accepted her request. She was really excited for her birthday party photography. On the next week, when I went to her birthday party for photography, there were just a few friends of hers and the overall set was ordinary, but Sarah was the center of attention as she was really looking gorgeous in a mustard-colored dress. I wished her happy birthday and then took her photos. When I reached the home, I was continuously thinking about her beautiful looks and nature. I texted her that she was looking fantastic today. She replied me back, "Thank you, handsome." We started chatting on a daily basis and we got strong feelings for each other. We used to have dates and kisses as well. One day we both were highly drunk and were so close physically. That night was really amazing. Next morning she called me and said that she wanted to marry me as soon as possible. When I asked her, "Honey, why so hurriedly?" she replied that her mother's health is really not good. She wanted her mother to see her in a bride's dress. I calmed her down and took some time for her. There were 4 people in our house: me, my mother, and my stepfather, and my stepsister who was on bed rest. I went to my mother and told her everything about Sarah. She did not allow me to do so, but on my great insistence, she agreed. I remember when we all were eating breakfast together on a family table. Meanwhile, my mother discussed my matter with my stepfather. He seemed happy and wished me a good life ahead. Finally, it was our wedding day. Everyone was admiring her. I felt lucky to have such a pretty life. I remembered that day when we both were about to go to our bedroom. He came and wished me in ears, "Son, you have a good taste." I thanked him and then we both began to laugh. I had very friendly bonding with my stepfather. We often used to have gossips and wine together. Our wedding night was really amazing as I did not know before that Sarah could be so seductive and attractive. The next morning I saw Sarah doing a screening. When I asked her, "What are you doing?" she said she is posting her wedding pictures on her social media account. Suddenly she said to me, Look, Johnny, your stepfather sent me a friend request and liked all my posts. She burst into laughter and said, "Your dad is really so active on social media." After hearing Sarah's words, I was totally surprised, as I never thought that my stepfather could be such an active stalker because he never added me on his social media accounts. One day, when I went to a farewell event as a photographer, I received a call from my dad that my mother had a heart attack and she was admitted to hospital. I was totally out of my senses after getting this bad news. I hurriedly went to the hospital. When I reached the hospital, my wife was hugging my stepfather. They both were crying. When my wife saw me, she came towards me and told me my mother is now no more. I bent my knees and began to scream with sadness. That was really a big loss for me. After 4 days of my mother's death, I was sitting in sofa and observing my stepfather, who was desperately eating pizza. My stepfather seemed really satisfied after my mother's death. However, when he saw me that I am judging him, he came to me and began to cry. That was really fake at all. My wife came and gave me some food. She then rested her head on her shoulder and said that she wanted to tell me something. I was in a great mental breakdown after my mother's death, so I could not consider my wife's words that time. However, on the same evening when I was editing some photos on my laptop, my wife came and gave me good news that one of her YouTube friends with millions of followers wanted me to do her wedding photography. She was based off the station. After listening to my wife's words, I was unintentionally switched off my laptop and told my wife that, "Honey, it's a great project." Next morning, when she helped me in packaging my luggage, it was a project for about 7 days. I asked my wife to go with me, but she said that her mother is not fine. She had to look after her. I hugged my wife and then left for my project. On my way to another city, my mother's death was continuously popping up in my mind. As soon as I reached my destination, my wife called me and said that she is missing me. Unfortunately, I had to spend more than 7 days in that city. I remember how badly I was craving for my wife, even though she was not picking up my calls at night with the excuse that she got a random nap. After spending 10 days, I finally reached home. I hugged my wife and told her how much I missed her. The next day, when I was doing my work with my wife, she came and it seemed like she wanted to say something. When I asked her what happened, she whispered in my ears that she is pregnant. I was extremely delighted after hearing this big, great news. I took everyone home for dinner. Everyone seemed happy for us. I did not want my wife to do any home chores, so I appointed a maid for her. I used to take care of her a lot. I even used to call her regularly before coming to house and used to ask her about her cravings. I wanted my wife and baby to be healthy. I even used to cook every weekend. She was so resting in her pregnancy that she gained about 20 kg weight. She seemed kind of worried about her gaining weight, but I told her that once you delivered the baby, you can definitely join the gym. I really used to deal with my wife like a kid. I did whatever I could do. Finally, it was 5 December 2021 when my wife delivered a cute and healthy baby. Holding my child in my arms made me realize that what a blessing it is to be a father. My child looked exactly like my wife. I congratulated my wife for becoming parents. My child and my wife were healthy, so soon they discharged from the hospital and went home. As soon as I reached home, I decided to arrange a welcome party for the arrival of my baby. My wife seemed not so happy for our baby. When I asked her if she did not like the baby, she said no, I actually wasn't feeling well, so that's why she is like this. Well, my son's welcome party was not very well, and we all had a lot of fun. One day we were all sitting having dinner when suddenly my son started crying. I picked up my son in my lap, but he did not settle down, but started to cry a lot, even more than before. But as soon as my stepfather took him in his arms, the child was immediately happy and started smiling. It often happened that the child used to be happy in my stepfather's hands. One day, we all were joking together and my baby was eating with my dad's hands. I said jokingly to my stepfather that my son is more attached to you than me. We laughed and my stepfather said that okay, then you must have his DNA test. Although that was a fun time, but my stepfather, that point clicked in my mind because of that baby was attached to him was something that was provoking for me, so I decided to take my baby to the hospital in order to have his DNA test. My wife did not know about it, as the day she was at mother's house, whenever I used to ask my wife that I should drop her, but she denied me every time with an excuse that she don't want me to occupy, but wanted me to focus on my work. I was waiting desperately for my baby's DNA test. Meanwhile, I got an urgent photoshoot project. That day I was really occupied with my project. However, when I got free time for my work, I went to the hospital in order to check my baby's DNA test. But on the way to the hospital, something wrong happened to my car. It took about 1 hour to fix my car. As soon as I got my car fixed, I went to the hospital and asked the doctor about the DNA test. On reading the report, I was shocked to see that this baby does not belong to me. I was really crazy on my wife's lie. That day was not less than a nightmare. One thing that made me even more shocked that this baby belonged to someone I could not even think about of him. I angrily went to my home, but my wife was still at her mother's home. I even did not find my stepfather at my home as well. I was looking for them, but they vanished. I did not know exactly her mother's house. However, after asking from one of her close friends, I came to know the location of her mother's house. On reaching her mother's home, there was no one. I did not even find her mother. I heard some inappropriate sounds coming from the bedroom, and when I started following the sounds, I caught my wife being physically involved with his boyfriend. My feet froze after seeing this all. She even did not know that I was present at that room. I heard their conversation. She was saying to his boyfriend that he made him all happy and fulfilled. When she looked at me, she was all shocked and totally looked like a fish out of water. She hurriedly covered herself. I was about to slap her, but her boyfriend did not allow me to do so. She confessed that her baby belongs to him, but her boyfriend is poor and did not have enough resources to groom my baby. I want my baby well groomed. That's why I was playing this game. She further said that she used to transfer money to her boyfriend from my bank account and often from my wallet. After hearing this all, I had no words. I did not know what to do and what to say. The way she played with my feelings and emotions was the worst thing ever that ever happened to me. I divorced her right at the moment. I wonder how someone could be so mean. I loved her a lot. Even my family loved her a lot. But she was playing this game from the very beginning. I must say to all that please have a check and balance on your spouse, as if I talked to my ex-wife. She used to go every day in my absence to her mother's home. That was her shelter for her physical activities with her boyfriend. I even noticed many scars on my wife's body, but I never asked her about them all because I used to trust her a lot and had no red flags. Maybe my stepfather was aware of her activities, but he did not have enough courage to talk to me regarding this matter because the way he gave me clue was perplexing. I asked my stepfather many times, but he never released her secret. I considered Sarah a really unlucky person because I bet no one could take care of her more than me. Now Sarah is working in a cafe as a waitress and her boyfriend left her pregnant because he simply said that he was not able to take the burden of 2 kids. After Sarah's cheating, I was literally out of my mind and was in high anxiety. But my stepfather compelled me to get married and start a new life. I got married to a younger and prettier girl last year who is one of my stepfather's nieces. We all are living peacefully and happily. Now my wife is pregnant. I am giving every facility to my wife. I told you the details of my personal life as I want to motivate everyone who is suffering from infidelity with their partners and are highly disappointed right now that good time will surely be on the way. Just wait and try to avoid trusting so much. Goodbye and share your feedback with us.